With it now nearly being 6 months into quarantine due to the I figured I should take all this free time I've acquired to sit back and catch up on some anime. For those who may not know, I'm genuinely a huge fan of anime. I fell in love with it during my time in middle school thanks to Naruto, and now I consider it as still one of my biggest passions. However, over the last year or so, I haven't really been able to catch up with the current releases, or dig into the backlog that I have for one reason or another. That was until this last August, where I simply said, screw it, and decided upon a whopping 12 series I would binge through and enjoy. Covering multiple genres and subject matters, I managed to narrow that list down to 4 different series that I want to talk to you about today. Please keep in mind that while I will be discussing each of these series' storylines in depth, I won't be spoiling anything specific, so you won't have to worry about spoilers if any of these shows end up taking your interest. Also, if there's a specific show from this list you'd like to hear my opinions on, you can jump to the timecodes on screen now, or as they're listed in the description below. So, with all that said, this is my summer in anime. First off our anime chopping block is Anohana. Originally released in 2008, the story revolves around Jinta, who's been going through a very deep depression in the years following the death of his friend Menma. Now hiding in his home, playing video games, and staying away from school, things only seem to get worse when her spirit begins to pester him, asking for him to grant her final wish in order for her to finally move on to the afterlife. In order for him to grant said wish, he must first pull together their now estranged childhood friends, the Super Peace Busters, comprised of Anaru, one of the most popular girls in school, Saruko, the intelligent yet quiet observer, Popo, the lovable and kind-hearted comedian, and Yukiatsu, the blunt and condescending elitist. At first, all except Popo refused to believe in Jinta's claims of Menma's spirit still lingering, but as the series continues, we discover that it's not because they don't believe in the supernatural, but rather, it's because they don't want to believe that she's still around. All of them harboring this feeling as if they were the cause for her unfortunate and untimely passing. Being forced to relive their pain and guilt, they must work together to not only find the strength to help Menma finally move on, but help themselves move on as well. Anohana's story is one of suffering and the different ways people handle and deal with loss, especially the loss of a loved one. While we all can acknowledge that death is inevitable, it's still an alien concept, and when it finally comes, we're never truly sure how to properly address those feelings. We see these characters struggling to deal with and coping on their own, each in their own unhealthy ways, and it's only when they're together that they find that pain fading away. This is a fantastic drama, teaching not only fantastic lessons about life and death, but also the importance of keeping those you love close. Backed by a gorgeous soundtrack and some clean as hell animation, Anohana is an all-around emotional, timeless roller coaster of a series that anyone, even if you're not an anime fan, should see. While on the unfortunate topic of death, our next anime starts off with quite an impact. Zombieland Saga revolves around the now dead Sakura, the former schoolgirl who dreamed of becoming an idol before her 10 years after said accident, she is brought back to life in Saga, with no memory of her past, alongside 6 other zombie girls. Saki, a rebellious biker, Lily, a child star, Yuguri, a courtesan from the Meiji era, Ai and Junko, 2 idols themselves, and finally, Tai, who is just Tai. Under the management of the charismatic Tatsumi, they must band together to help economically revitalize Saga as an idol group, all while keeping their identities as zombies hidden and rediscovering their lives before they passed. Zombieland Saga is an absolutely insane take on the ever-popular idol genre of anime, and it's practically on par with some of the best out there. The music in this show is ridiculously catchy, and it's an absolute blast to just jam out to, even for non-native Japanese speakers. And if the music isn't necessarily your taste, then you'll absolutely adore the quirky humor, loud as hell characters, and great animation. The vivid colors and fantastic art direction show just how much passion the team at Studio Mappa have for this series, and trust me, it shows. Zombieland Saga is a great refresh to an already packed genre that, despite what the show's main subject matter is, it has one hell of a pulse. Make sure you check this out while you're still alive. From the melancholy feeling of death to the cheesiness of romantic comedy, Toradora tells a tale of two high schoolers. Ryuji, a gentle and kind housework lover born with an intimidating face, and Taiga, a short, doll-like girl who can be best described as anything but. After an incident that causes the two to cross paths, Ryuji discovers that Taiga actually has a secret, a crush on Ryuji's best friend and student council vice president, Kitamura. Ironically, Taiga happens to find out about Ryuji's secret, that being he has a crush on Taiga's best friend and head of the girls' softball team, Minori. Now, knowing each other's secrets, as well as finding out that they're technically neighbors, the two agree to help each other out with their respective crushes, forming a powerful bond in the process. Toradora may sound like your run-of-the-mill slice-of-life romantic comedy, but this show tries to be anything but and succeeds. Every character feels like an actual person, each with their own flaws and insecurities on display, which is helped even more by the impeccable voice acting team involved. Junji Mijima's rendition of Ryuji is perfectly stern while also perfectly portraying that hidden comedic intensity. And Rei Kagemiya's performance as Taiga is one of my favorites in all of anime. Playing an angry yet lovable girl, but still hiding a great deal of pain that the audience discovers later on in the series. Not to mention the expertly composed background accompaniment makes each moment feel as real as an anime can get. A quirky and enjoyable series with great comedic writing and relatable characters, this series puts all other romantic comedies to shame. Toradora is not only one of my favorite anime series of all time, but is also a must-watch for any anime fan. Our final series, Rent a Girlfriend, is another romantic comedy that, upon first glance, seems just like a trashy, exploitative harem anime with a very loose story, and that's all it is. However, this show is way more than that. Please just let me explain. Kazuya is a college student who just got dumped by his girlfriend of a month. Having never really been in a relationship before, he doesn't truly know how to handle his breakup and opts to fill the hole in his heart through the use of a rental girlfriend service, which is where we meet Mitsuhara. At first, everything seems like it's going well, and she's all he could ever ask for. Kind, great looks, and a cute, charming personality. But upon seeing mixed reviews on her profile after his date, Kazuya assumes her to be just toying with the hearts of men and leaves her a negative review. Not satisfied with that, however, he books another appointment with Mitsuhara to tell her to her face how betrayed he feels, only to instead get news at that moment that his grandmother collapsed, having to drag Mitsuhara with him to the hospital. While it ends up being nothing serious, Kazuya's grandmother is nothing short of excited that he was able to find a serious relationship, which was coincidentally her wish. Now unable to break her heart, Kazuya and Mitsuhara are forced into a fake relationship, and you can only imagine the chaos that ensues. What Rent a Girlfriend may lack in concept, it more than makes up for in storytelling. Seeing this story of a young, bashful guy having to grow up and learn from his romantic mistakes is quite endearing, while sometimes feeling a bit cringeful. This show really excels at character moments and execution, with each character becoming more and more fleshed out as each episode releases. Each dramatic hook keeps you on your toes, tying in well with that will they actually fall in love or will their act crumble story that makes this series such an actually interesting watch. While this show falls victim to many tropes and sometimes the writing can be very predictable at moments, the overall themes and story of Rent a Girlfriend make it an easy recommendation from myself if you're looking for something good to put on and eat popcorn to. And there we go. 4 of my favorite anime that I've seen this summer reviewed and now on the channel. This is a huge thing because this is my first anime centered video here on the channel. I have had this YouTube channel for years now, and despite me being a huge anime fan, I was always worried about presenting the idea or talking about anime on the channel, because I know a lot of you guys come here for funny games and memes and haha, and I was worried that you guys wouldn't enjoy the idea of me talking about anime for an extended period of time, but I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please let me know in the comments below. Make sure you click the like button, and it would be especially awesome if you guys could subscribe. Maybe we'll do this again in the future if I'm feeling up to it. I will say, this video took me a lot longer than I thought it would make. You can tell because from when I recorded at the start of the video to now, I got a haircut. That signifies that time has passed, but until then, I love all you little sassholes to the moon and back, and I'll see you guys around.